Hey, can you hear me, Dev?
Can hear you perfectly.
Okay.
Question isn't if we can hear each other, it's if other people can hear us.
Well, other people, can you hear us?
Yes, they can.
Okay. Guys, some of the software we got has been updated to OS, so if you find any little problems, definitely let us know, because we do not know. I just noticed that when we started, there was a little issue here and there. Deb, you want to give it a quick run around and see if we're good everywhere?
Yep, I'm checking YouTube. It's streaming just fine. Not seeing us on Facebook, though. Oh, nope, just popped up on Facebook.
Okay.
And let me check the volume. Yep, volume's working fine there. And we are on Twitch as well, aren't we?
Yeah, we are on Twitch too.
Let me... And yep, looks like everything's running just fine on all three of our preferred digital platforms.
Okay. First of all, I want to say hello to everybody. I know it's been a long time since you've seen us. I mean, I think I was on Whiskey Charlie. Was it last weekend or the weekend before? I've got, I have to say, I'm really, I guess, touched, and I don't mean that in a mental way, by all the emails that you guys have written when you found out I was sick. They thought I had cancer. They did tests. The tests so far are saying no. So that's good news, guys. So you're not going to get rid of me that quickly or that easily. Devin's rise to the throne will be a little delayed.
I think your wife has first dibs on that, and then Blackwell, and then maybe a couple other people, Darren, then maybe me. I'm way off from the ascension.
Blackwell will be running, screaming from the room. Are you kidding me? No, he doesn't want anything to do with that. Okay, so we're gonna. I'm gonna start off by just giving you guys some updates. It's been a while. I hope you're all doing well with the COVID-19 disasters, the political uprisings, the wonderful politics, and everything else going on in the world. And we don't care about any of that. We want to talk about games. Okay. We do support our guys in blue, and we pray that you're all safe and everybody else is safe out there too. Yes. And to our armed forces, thank you. Okay. Basically, let's start with what I guess, let's see the brand here. Okay. What we're going to start with is where we're at. Well, the latest issue of War Game Diary magazine is out. Okay. Someone was asking, just so you know, some of the stuff I'm not as up to date on because I've not been able to walk. Was one of the disabilities I got from my sickness over the last 8 weeks. So I'm just now being able to start literally going places again. So Roy, who I believe is online, he's I owe you a phone call back, as I do Nicholas and some other people, which will probably come today after the broadcast is done. But the latest War Diary magazine is out there. And I think Dev and I have talked to try to get Roy on here to talk about the magazine and the process. We haven't really done that. So maybe we'll have a show next week again. Okay. But look for that. If it's not on the store, it will be shortly. Okay. The Lock and Load store is getting upgraded to the latest version software, just to make sure we keep the security up to date. So you may see in the next week or so it being offline. It's nothing wrong. It'll say it's down for maintenance, but just so you know. All right. Let's see, Brandon. Okay. The next thing is people have been asking us is the General's edition of Trial of Strength. Okay. This looks like it will be going within the next week on Kickstarter. Okay. Ooh. And let me just talk about the Kickstarters really fast. Here is the process that we're going to use. Obviously, 2020 has been, what did they say? If 2020 was a scented candle, it would be porta potty smell. So we're going to do an amount of Kickstarters back to back. Okay. And then we're going to produce them all at once and ship them all at once. They will not be combined. So if you buy one Kickstarter game and you go to the next Kickstarter game, we're not going to box them all together due to weight, due to packaging, but they will be done from the printers already pre-boxed, which means there will be no delay once the games show up with us sticking a sticker on it and shipping it out the door. Okay, none of this organizing it, sorting it, or anything else. Okay, so we're not going to have options where you can buy this game from 2 years ago or add this special edition. What's in the Kickstarter box will be in the shipping box of that product. So it's going to be nice, sweet, and fast. That's what we're shooting for. Okay. I expect that these games will ship starting first, second quarter of next year. Okay. So none of this stuff that we're going to be talking Kickstarter wise is going to go out fast. Now, if it comes in quicker, we're going to ship them immediately. But we plan to put them all together and ship them out all at the same time in their own boxes. Okay, so just clarify that. Okay, this show is going to be mostly talking about Lock and Load Tactical. That's the show we're going to be picking on, the game we're going to be picking on, and where we're going with that. People know we've been doing a lot of stuff in the background with that. I may need to pay for Devin's Alcohol Anonymous court classes. We'll have to wait and see, guys.
Oh, it's not that bad. I just need a couple bottles of whiskey to get me over this last couple weeks hump.
What did you say? 300-400 proof? I forget the number you said.
Nothing quite that severe.
Okay. Okay, so let's start off with the latest thing that's out there, guys. If you haven't heard, okay, we obviously have Lock and Load Tactical Digital on Steam. It's only available through Steam for Mac and the PC for Windows. Okay, and we just released last night Heroes Against the Red Star Battle Pack 1. I can't remember all these names. Battle Pack 1. Okay. It's been a long time coming. Everyone wanted to know why we were taking so long. It had nothing to do with the COVID-19 or anything else. The last bit of rules that we had, okay, to put in there into the program was airstrikes, and the thing we really had to work on was the line of sight. So we're going to start with that as the biggest thing. As everyone knows, the board game does point to point. You know, you take a string, hexagon, middle hex. If it doesn't pass through any terrain, it's line of sight. The computer game was doing whole hexes, which obviously is not perfect, but it was the way to get the game to you guys during the lockdown to play. Okay, well, this game, or this DLC, Heroes Against the Red Star Battle Pack 1, has some maps, and I believe it's binoculars, if I'm not mistaken, Dev.
Yes, it's the big map. It's not the small geomorphic maps that are in Heroes of the Red Star. This is the big historical map that's included with Heroes of the Red Star that we've done this with.
All the maps are going to have this option
eventually.
So it's not like it's only have few. We just stuck it in there now because we've been play testing this for over a month. It seems to be working flawlessly, but we know that not to use that word out loud often. And we want you to look at it. But here's, I'll let Devin explain this graphic a little bit better to you.
Okay, so basically what we have to do in Lock and Load Tactical Digital to make it work point to point like the tabletop version where you're just taking a string and eyeballing it, you actually have to go in and have another layer that the players can't see that define exactly what is blocking terrain, what is degrading terrain. And so what we're looking at here, everybody should recognize this. This is Assault on Veerville, map 1 from Heroes of Normandy. And this is the overlay that the computer looks at when you're taking a line of sight from the line of sight tool and drawing hex to hex. And it is looking if that line crosses any of the white colors that you see on the map. Those are representing the blocking and degrading terrain. And so if the line of sight tool crosses even the littlest bit of this white color on this underlay, then it will know, all right, this is blocking, this is degrading, what have you. Beforehand, we didn't have this underlay on there, and we had to go hex by hex. So even if a hex had a part of a building in it, that would be considered blocking terrain. Now with this underlay, the line of sight tool, if it doesn't cross a white, it's not blocking or degrading. The problem is, as you can see, we practically have to go in and a lot of places pixel by pixel and define this terrain type. So it is a very slow, it is a very arduous process. Now we do have a way that we can do broad stroke over a lot of it, but we still have to go in to get the exact edges just perfectly right, so it matches up with what is printed on the map, so we can get the realistic point to point like we have on tabletop.
Okay, anybody has any questions, guys? Start chatting in, boy. We've been a while. If you ask any question you want, we may not answer them in order, but we will get to them all before we're done today. At least that's the plan.
Yep.
Okay. Now, well, we're going to jump into this real fast. You may notice some similarity to this Stenley man on here.
I don't know what you're talking about.
He looks a little bit more sober, though. Okay. So anyway, this will probably be the second or third Kickstarter we are going to start doing. Our Kickstarters will probably not be 30 days. They're probably going to be something like in between 21 and 25 days. Okay, we're going to try to hit a 2 pay period in there for people to make their life easier. But this is the next Lock and Load Tactical. I'll put up some graphics for the counters and maps. We'll have more as it goes along. This will also be being made into a DLC, a digital game. Okay, and we may now. My plan is to have a special sound effect of Devin screaming whenever his leader counter dies. So look for that. Okay, guys. Dev, why don't you explain a little bit what the battles are? Where you're going with this, maybe, again, the scenarios and all that are pretty set, but we may get up one, add one, take away one. So I'll let Devin explain a little bit more about that now.
All right. So basically, Heroes Road to Stalingrad is the German summer offensive 1942 that was known as Case Blue. And it basically was the German summer offensive that was designed to drive onto the Baku oil fields down by in southern Russia, past the Caucasus, down almost near the borders of Turkey. It was an audacious and overreaching plan, in my opinion. The logistics just did not support that far away from Germany. Plus, there was almost no infrastructure about halfway through the territory that they were advancing. So the logistics was just almost impossible to maintain. Germany finally realized, okay, we're not going to get to Baku. Let's go at least try to drive onto this little silly city some of you may have heard of called Stalingrad, capture that and cut off the main transport network that the Soviets used to move the oil from the Baku oil fields up into normal or up into Greater Russia. It was 2 army groups, 137 divisions. It was a huge, massive undertaking, sprawled over several hundred, well, probably like 2,000 square kilometers of terrain. It basically was what brought Germany to the gates of Stalingrad. And as everybody knows, it kind of was the turning point of the war, because we know what happened to Paul's Sixth Army at Stalingrad. We have 12 scenarios that are in it right now, and I could have done easily thousands more. I mean, it was such a large amount. Like I said,
is that an offer?
No. No, I said I could. I'm not going to, but I could. Okay. 137 German divisions. I mean, probably twice that many Soviet divisions. Urban fighting, rural fighting, mountainous fighting in the Caucasus. I mean, pretty much any type of action you wanted to see occurred in Case Blue, just because of the massive size of it. However, most of the area Case Blue was fought over was flat farmlands. So we've got 7 new maps that we're introducing into the game. Probably 4 of those are kind of I don't want to say boring because they're not boring, but they are definitely rural flatlands fighting. And we can see two of those right there, the top one and the middle one. There's a couple urban maps that I threw in there. There's one mountainous terrain I threw in there. And yeah, okay, we definitely got this wooded terrain. So we've got a wide variety. Most of the fighting does occur in kind of flat terrain with a lot of fields and such like that. So you're going to have wide open fields of fire in some of these. So we're looking at some longer range type scenarios with armored vehicles blasting away at each other at, maximum range. We do have some really good urban scenarios. Rostov was one of the biggest cities, and Rostov was kind of a precursor of what was going to happen at Stalingrad. So we've got some nice Stalingrad style city fighting, close up, in your face, fortified building fighting. I tried to make as many of the scenarios as varied as possible. I didn't always want to German armor attacking, German armor attacking, German armor. No, we got German armor attacking, German infantry attacking, Soviet armor attacking, Soviet mechanized. All the scenarios are different in some way in what the attacking and defending forces are. Added in all the special rules that we have, Occupy and LOS events. I think some of these scenarios are going to be really, really good. Of course, I might be a bit biased. We're looking at some new infantry types. We've got your standard German, you've got your Soviet line, you've got Soviet guards. We are now also introducing Soviet NKVD troops, the Soviet secret police, basically. They were a police force, but they were organized along military lines up to division size. So they're not really good fighters. They have a firepower of 0, although unlike partisans, they don't suffer the partisan effects. They were mostly equipped with, just rifles, pistols. I mean, they were a police force. However, they were very fanatical in their defense. So they've got a guards level of morale of 6 until they shake, and then they fall to a Soviet value of 4. So you don't really want the NKVD troops to shake. So there's a couple special rules that will keep your troops from shaking, but it's going to cost you if you want to do that. So we've got some really cool rules for the NKVD. We're looking at some new vehicle types, the Soviet Tachanka machine gun wagon. I struggled if I was going to make it either a vehicle or a weapons team, and I just decided to make it a weapons team. But it's basically a horse-drawn wagon with a couple of machine guns on it. So it gives the Soviets a little bit more flexibility with maneuverability, and it's got like 6 movement or 8 movement, which most weapon teams don't see. So it's a highly maneuverable weapon team for the Soviets now. We're not seeing any other new Soviet vehicles for the most part. The only vehicles in this 3-month period were the T-70, the T-34, and the KV-1. So we're not seeing they're just that's it. That's pretty much all the Soviet armored vehicles were. For the Germans, we're seeing the Panzer IV F series. We're seeing the Panzer G, the Stug F8, the PZ3 or PZ2F. We've seen the C version before, and here's a Defiance, but now we're seeing the F variation. So we got a lot of new vehicles. The German Stuka, we're seeing that on the screen. That's the D version. That's making a reappearance. We're also going to be including this the Soviet Sturmovik air-to-ground attack aircraft, and that thing is a beast with machine guns. I mean, it puts the Stuka to shame when it comes in for a strafing attack. Let's see, what other new cool stuff are we adding in? Unit wise, that's pretty much. Oh, we also have, and one thing I'm very, very, very happy. I'm looking forward to people's feedback on this. Incompetent leaders. Haven't really seen this much in a tactical game before, but it's always assumed that the leaders are upright heroes of whatever. They're not all leaders were like that. There were a lot of leaders that worked their ways into position that shouldn't have actually been there, and they usually ended up getting fragged by their own men eventually, but we've never really seen that too much in a tactical game. So now we have the option of having incompetent, well, not the option, they are in there, of incompetent leaders, which actually hinder your troops' ability to do stuff. There are some special rules that, yes, they do have to be stacked at all times with somebody. And if they, for some reason, they're the sole survivor, they immediately must make their way to another unit. So yeah, you just can't stick him with one guy off in the middle of nowhere. He's going to find his way into the battlefield. That's usually how it works. So it's kind of a tactical hindrance that you have to deal with, but I think people are going to be excited to see it because it is just another level of tactical management that you have to worry about. So,
and we're going to have more on this, And so now the one thing people are asking is, this is not the actual battle in Stalingrad. That's supposedly going to be one of the next ones we're talking about.
Yes. There is only one scenario in this that actually deals with fighting in Stalingrad, and it's actually the very last scenario, or the 11th scenario, 12th scenario. The Germans initially first moving into some suburbs that were just north of Stalingrad. And that's really the only scenario that takes place in Stalingrad. Everything else is the Caucasus Mountains, the Urals, the fields, just the flat terrain that led up to the Volga River. But yes, we're looking at a very impressive Stalingrad game set in Stalingrad, and it's going to be my magnus opus. I have a feeling. I don't think after that I'm going to be able to top it. But that's still a couple years off, probably. We've got Pegasus Bridge we need to get done. Well, I mean, one title.
Okay,
the Stalingrad title.
You'll get a case of booze and a crate of coffee.
Give me tea, and it's a deal. So, but yeah, we've got Pegasus Bridge we're looking at doing, or that I'm looking at doing as soon as I get comfortable with Road to Stalingrad being done, and it's right there. I mean, I got to rewrite a couple things, but really other than that, so Pegasus Bridge, and then after I get done with Pegasus Bridge, then will be this massive Stalingrad title.
Okay, and we are going to be making some massive map games, maybe the word massive is not really the word I should be using. What would you call them? Real, semi-real,
historical.
That's what it is. Yeah. So yeah, Steve, it's more case blue than Stalingrad. Yes, that's exactly what we're shooting for.
Yep, that's exactly what this is.
Okay, now the other thing that people have asked us about is this bad boy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, this is done by the gaming famous Ralph Ferrari, and he is basically taking the time to really sit back and he's making new scenarios and additional scenarios. We know that Grenada did not go on for weeks and months at a time, but there were some pretty severe and ferocious firefights. There's some really excellent books on this, and God willing, we hope to have Ralph on here talking a little bit about his game. I do not see this coming out until the first quarter of next year, or at least into a Kickstarter to the very, very, very end of this year. Okay, so this is a little bit more way off than we thought. Basically, we spent the last, 2 weeks, going through the schedule, revamping it. We're looking to do a lot of the printing just right here in the United States. That may or may not happen. Just simply finding competent printers, believe it or not. But here's a quick little peek, of the map. Okay, this is one of the maps that's going to be in. Here's Grenada. There's a new type of terrain in here, but I don't know what it is.
It is volcanic plant terrain. If you'll notice, we've got some new jungle terrain that's right there south of the one hill on your left hand side. That's a new type of graphic that Mark has come up with for jungle terrain. But you'll notice there are some rougher hexes kind of around all over the place that kind of look like broken ground. That is a combination of lava field. Well, not lava field, but what is it called? It is volcanic lava, rock, and dirt, but plants are growing in it, and that's common. That happens quite often. So it's kind of going to be a cross between a brush and a rough terrain type hex. So this is a new type that we're going to be seeing on a lot of maps for Grenada.
Okay. So we have quite a bit more stuff for you for Walking with Tactical. I don't have any counters, Nicholas. Let me just see if I do, and I'm talking out my backside here. Hold on. Give me 1 second, guys, as I look this up. Oh, and we do have more than one artist doing the graphics. Ivan, what's Ivan's last name, Devin?
Serreris.
Ivan Seres is doing Heroes Road to Stalingrad, and of course David Julian, super artist too, is doing the artwork for Heroes of Grenada. And I don't have any batch pictures yet of the Grenada. Well, I don't actually. I have individual counters, guys, and I will get those together for you. We did show them on Facebook and some other places, so he is available. They are available to see, but I don't have any that I can just stick on there real quick for you. Sorry.
Yeah, for the most part, the counters for Grenada are done. We still need to get, I think it's the skill counters are the only thing we still need to get to David Julian so he can put it on the sheet. Other than that, Grenada is done except for some new scenarios that Ralph is putting into the game. I think we're looking at 15 to 18 scenarios. I think Ralph was looking to put into here, and I think 9 new maps. I don't remember the numbers exactly. However, just due to some circumstances, Ralph almost had to pretty much redo the entire design from the ground up. So he hasn't had the chance to play test a lot of the new stuff. So that's why we're not going to be seeing Grenada until the tail end of the current batch of Kickstarter stuff. He still needs some time to work on the play testing and such like that. So Grenada is coming. I know it's a title he's been working on for like 10 years and we've been hyping it for about 5. It's coming. Just give us a little more patience and time on it.
David Julian's with us. Hey, David, how you doing, buddy?
Welcome, David. We were just talking about you.
All nice things. We didn't say anything.
Of course, definitely nice things.
Okay. Yeah, I can't fix that mustache.
We like that mustache.
That's Ralph's porn mustache. We've got that set.
That's definitely an early 80s porn stash.
All right. So I'm gonna switch gears a little bit back.
Well, did we want to mention the other Gina's project?
No, I want to wait until
we'll get more on that. Okay,
we have something to show them at least.
Right, gotcha.
Okay, what we're talking about? Well, I guess we'll talk about it a little bit. We do have 2 other modules being done. Okay, I'll let you talk about what the modules are, I guess, because you're working with that much more extensively.
Well, I just give it kind of a brief overview, just so to give people a little taste of what we are working on. It's basically North Africa 2. It is a module that is going to be focusing on the long-range desert group and SAS operations in North Africa. And again, we're just kind of in the preliminary stages of it. Fabulous designer Gina, who's done work with GMT, is taking up the standard for this. And I've seen some of the maps she's done. There's going to be about 7-8 maps in it. She's done a phenomenal job with it so far. It's going to be its own full-size game. We're looking at probably 5 counter sheets, at least 12 to 13 scenarios in it. And there is another thing that it's going to tie into, but I'm not going to mention that because I don't think David wants me to say anything yet.
Yeah, we want to get that all set up for you before we tell you. Okay, on the computer game. Okay, I believe.
Hang on 1 second.
Okay, what is the lineup for release of the digital games? Well, let me give you a little. Herschel, how you doing? By the way, I haven't talked to you. Oh, it's been a while now. I hope everything's going good with you out there. Basically, here's why part of the reason we were late with Heroes Against the Red Stars because we added all the airstrikes in the game. So right now, that part of the game is complete. The line of sight is complete. I mean, obviously, there'll be bug fixes as they pop up, as they always are. And code-wise, we have an end screen now as far as, seeing who did what, who died, who survived. So the whole game, minus one little thing, which we're going to explain to you as soon as Devin gets back, we'll show it off to you a little bit, is all done. So right now, the plan is to do Falklands, and we plan to have Falklands done before the end of September. Now you're saying, why would that go so much faster than the other one? Because every time we add things like airstrikes, the line of sight, once it's added, it's obviously added for everything. Yes, the map layer has to be put in there, but that's an artist thing, and then we literally just add it to the game, and then boom, it's there. If the game, I think Devin said this, but if the game scenario has a binoculars, it means the detail line of sight's already been implemented. If it does not, it means it's the hex line of sight. It does not mean we're not doing it. It's just Mark is making the maps as fast as he can, and Dave will implement them as fast as he can.
As it currently stands, the only maps in Lock and Load Tactical Digital that do have that layer masking where we can do point to point is the big historical map for Heroes Against the Red Star and the starter kit. Those are the only two packs so far that have.
I think it's some Normandy and some.
Yeah, basically they're using the same map. So right. Yeah, so there are a couple, but they're the starter kit scenarios basically.
So we plan on Heroes of the Falklands, okay, and I talked to Tom yesterday, and then we're looking at Heroes of the Pacific, okay. We are going to be, I'm going to discuss with him Heroes Against the Motherland. Okay, so we have an East Front one in there. The Heroes of the Pacific has the last of the complicated and special scenario rules, SSRs. So that always takes more time to program. Once they're already programmed, obviously we can just copy them from one module to the other. But that's really why you see a little bit of delay there. So we're looking at Falklands, Pacific, and my guess will be Motherland. As far as new unreleased games go, it does not mean we may not sneak in the Battle Pack 2 for Normandy or Battle Pack 2 for Nam. We're just trying to get one in each game in there so everyone can get to try it out. Okay, here's some praise for you.
You are most welcome. I enjoy doing those videos. Nice, quick, short, sweet, to the point.
Yeah, and what he's referring to, let me just see, guys, if you are looking for, where to find it, there's the link for Heroes Against the Red Star. You just go in Steam and type Lock and Load Tactical. Under there, you're going to find all the modules available. Oh, one thing we didn't tell you, it's on sale, 20% off for a week from yesterday, I believe. Okay, it's normally $9.99 and it will be $7.99. So I mean, it's a good deal for your gaming dollar.
My wife spends more than that on a cup of coffee, so
So do I. Can't really think. Okay, and then the other thing, just so you guys know, Devin's personal favorite, his Discord server. Okay.
Not mine. I just oversee it. I just oversee it.
To oversee Overwatch. Okay. And this is just a nice public service announcement, guys. If you have any issues, okay, they're not mine or Devin's fault. This goes to Darren White. If you're listening, he's our support manager. Just so you know, things are moving slow at the warehouse, simply because you can only have so many employees next to each other within 6 feet. So it's less than half the stuff that's normally allowed in the warehouse. So there's a lot more back and forth and fixing things and stuff like that. But any problems you have, open up a support ticket. Okay. Darren's a great guy. He's wearing many hats because we can't have the people we had in the warehouse. So he's, it takes a couple of days sometimes when to get back to you, but we're not ignoring you. Okay, you can find all of our games on Steam. As far as Victory and Glory is on there. Okay, I know there's an update for that, and they want to put a map on. That's another phone call I've got to make. But that's available. Nations at War. People, some guys have felt that we haven't really been paying attention to that. That is not the case. In order to give it the best support for Windows, Apple, Mac, and possibly even Linux, I'm really and this is more me, I'm really kind of trying to force our developers, when humanly possible, to use Unity, okay? Because it really makes it easy for everyone and for the programmer to make these additional modules, okay? So it was decided after the release, because of some of the things we wanted to do, and I give Philip and Daniel, the two guys doing the programming, a lot of kudos, and I really think you guys should too. They're converting the whole engine, which was, I believe, in Java, into Unity. which will really speed up the other module packs. Okay, and also allow to put other stuff in there. I mean, we do plan to make some packs that may not necessarily be available in tabletop format as far as board games go, but it will be on the digital format. Okay. So anyway, that's where the Nations at War game is. It's not forgotten. It's not dead at all. It's just converting an engine is not a simple thing, and it's a time-consuming thing. And like I said, kudos to these guys for stepping up and saying, okay, we want to do what's best for the project. And I will say this, and guys, support this, because this is how they're making a judgment on it. Depending upon how well the sales are, and this is how these guys make their money, this is the same new engine, which is another reason we want to do it, that it will become World War 85. Okay, and so I'm really, hoping if you think you might want World War 85, and for $5-6 you can try out the whole game basically with 2 scenarios before you spend any other money. And again, none of these titles are going to cost you 30, 40, 60, $80 as some other computer games will. They're made to be, you can buy 3 or 4 of them for the price of one game and play and play and play and play. Okay. But you can find out games on there. Also, Command Ops. Talked to Dave O'Connor, okay? And I'm not saying tomorrow, but I'm saying really soon we should have his next module out for Command Ops 2. That game probably has some of the best AI you're ever going to find in a war game on a computer. This game has been going on since back when I was at Matrix, when Command Ops came out. So it's been nothing but being improved and improved and improved as time goes on. Okay. Does anyone have any questions about the digital games? I'll leave anything out. Let's see. Herschel wants to know. Oh, I don't have any graphics for this. This goes to Thomas Yates, a big clear, and cheers to him. Okay, he did a phenomenal job giving us, there you go. Tom, that's for you. Okay, there, if you have bought Space Infantry Resurgence, okay, Tom helped us develop. It's all for free, okay. Starship Troopers, okay, and it gives you maps and scenarios and cards, and also Aliens, the Alien franchise. So you got 2 free downloads. You can get them from our Facebook page. You can get them from our resource page. There is one more game right now that we have definitely planned. It's called Space Infantry Federation. It's a siege game. What do you call it?
It's a State of Siege game.
Right, and it also it might go on Kickstarter. That game will be released really quickly. So that means if we do a Kickstarter and it's released, you might see it in 60 days because we've already really put it into production. Okay, and it's a solitaire game. It's more of a strategic game. It's not a necessarily card-driven game in the sense of Space Infantry Resurgence. And right now, Herschel, there's no plans to make a vassal module for Space Infantry in the time being. One, it's a solitaire game. We might put it on Tabletop Simulator, okay, but there's too many irons in the fire right now for us to commit to that. The other big thing many of you may have missed out on is one of the things that we have done, and I'm looking for, there you go, is we took all the Lock and Load Tactical core games, Nations at War core games, and World at War 85. Now, they're already all on Steam, okay? So you guys can go play these games. And Trent Gardner did that, and could never have done it without Trent helping us update all the files and keeping them all going for us. And Vance Strickland did it earlier on many of the games. You guys' help is what makes this possible. Uwe Beck, I believe his name is pronounced.
Uwe Beck, yep.
Okay, Uwe, and again, Uwe, give you your own little special one here too, Guy. There you go. Uwe took all of our products that we just mentioned and we put them on Tabletop Simulator. They are free. There's one scenario, except for the starter kits, they're the same as what you normally would get. But there's one scenario that you can play. There's some great features on that. I really enjoy playing on Tabletop Simulator. You can save the game. And then what we provided, they're all out of stock now, just to let you guys know. But they're being printed or reprinted now, additionally printed. We made spiral-bound module rules and scenarios booklets for each of these games. And the object of this is, if you only play online, you're only playing in hotel rooms, when you're traveling for work, you're not really playing the tabletop games. As everyone knows, all of our core rules are free downloads. You can buy spiral-bound books if you want a book, but you don't have to buy any games. Well, if you bought, or if you have our core room, you can buy these module rules. The module rules give you all the scenarios, I'm not going to say all, but most of the charts and tables. So technically speaking, you can take, let's just pick on Heroes of the Motherland, okay? You can buy that book, have the core rules, go on Tabletop Simulator or Vassal and play these games, because the big way Vassal kind of tries to protect the publishers is by not giving you the scenarios. Okay, so you have to own the board game. We had turned around and said, hey, anywhere between 30 and 40 bucks, you buy the modular spiral-bound rulebook. Oh, sorry, not modular spiral-bound module rules and scenarios, and you can now have the information you need with some of the game tables to play online via Tabletop Simulator or Vassal. We're probably not going to go forward with Tabletopia. The graphics are kind of fuzzy. It doesn't play well cross-platform from different OSs or from different types. There seem to be a lot of issues with that. The starter kits for all three games are online, so you can try that out. Okay, but we're really I think we're gonna focus on Tabletop Simulator and the Vassal modules. Now, one of the things I wanted to show, because I saved this, here we go. You may notice Devin from one of his famous videos. Okay, and this is Tabletop Simulator. And one of the new features, I don't remember the guy's name. Who's the guy who made the module?
His online screen name is Mango Feet.
Mango Feet. I gotta forget that. Mango Feet made this great add-on that they call it exploding hexes, right? Or exploding hexes?
Exploding stacks, yes.
Exploding stacks, and it lets you see what's in there and pull things in and out of it. This was the biggest complaint we used to hear about Tabletop Simulator, and it is no more. And thanks to Uwe, it was put into all of our Tabletop Simulator modules. Okay, so the tables are there. And again, tables are on the game, so you don't need those. And works great for letting you try out the starter kit. But if you got the module scenario, spiral-bound rulebook, or you own the game, you can literally play everything minus buying that book or owning the game all online. So we really try to give you a digital fingerprint to play your games online, in a hotel, whatever the case is, as well as playing face-to-face online or tabletop on a table. And but we wanted to, show you the stacks. One of the things that is, and the map fully rotates 360 degrees. So you don't have that problem with Vassal. Okay. Got some more comments. I didn't say when. Right now, here's what we have. I'm not going to say the order for sure because it's based on when the developer is basically done and I get rid of them. Okay, and I go into production. Okay. You have Trial of Strength. You have Heroes Road to Stalingrad. You have, and World at War 85. There's going to be 2 games. Okay. Damn it, I have to remember the names now. Blood and Fury, okay, and also We Shall Hold, okay. We already, and really the 4th game in the series is being done by Nicholas, and it's going to be on the French forces is going to be added. We're going to have more with that. I hope to have Nicholas actually on the show to talk about it a little bit more. And while we're on World at War 85, not that this is the order that I have written things down in, guys, okay, but I want to let you know, available right now is the 1.2 version of 1.2 version of clarifications and corrections. Okay, when this broadcast is over, I'm going to put up a black and white edition only for those who want the easier in the printer, and there's a full color one. Here's the one thing you got to remember: the rule book says, or the clarification correction says, any new rules are in blue. Okay, they won't be in the black and white edition. Okay, so you're gonna, you might want to use the PDF, but print out the black and white edition if you're looking to save ink. One of the reasons we don't really like to do the black and white, gamers really like the fact of being able to find the changes. The other game that is coming, which will probably come before this third World at War game, will be Contact Now. Okay, Steve Overton, you can take that needle out of my voodoo doll. Okay, and we're going to have, when we get close to that release, we're going to have Steve on here to talk about the game. The game is planned to be a series, but we're going to focus just on the first game. The recent play testing from some of the guys I've talked to, they really enjoyed the game. One of the things that we're going to do is we're going to try to provide a tabletop simulator edition of the game, of what we would call a starter kit. It may not be an official starter kit release, but it'll be a starter kit where you can get online and try it. And that's really what we want to do. It doesn't work for everything like trial of strength. You're not going to get a that. Okay. I know I've heard rumors that Johnny's pretty happy about that. Let me see. There he is. There we go. Okay. And we also have Point Blank, okay, which is a tactical squad combat card game. Okay. These are not the only games. We have some games we're working on with Roy Matheson's from War Game Diary, and we're going to push it out, but where those games are really already in production, okay, and they will be released as we get them. Might be Kickstarters for them, they may not, okay. Same thing with Space Infantry Tactics. That's really more of a lock and load game, tactical game in space. It's pure science fiction, and we were trying to get it out for Halloween, but we're probably not going to make it. Just a special lock and load tactical zombie thing. And again, it's for tongue in cheek, guys. If you're looking to calculate the bullet penetration of a zombie that's been rotting for 6 months and all that, you're going to be disappointed. Okay, it's just made to be for some fun. Same thing with the Space Infantry Tactics, and those names may change a little bit too. Okay, but that's still those counters are already being printed. So to give you an idea, okay. Okay, so now going back to my shattered schedule. Okay, so again, give me about 30-40 minutes after we're done the broadcast, and I will get those updated files up there for you for the clarifications and corrections. I want to drag us back to Lock and Load Tactical. Oh, Nicholas, you know what? And you got to tell Dave to show me some. I didn't know he had any. Okay. But yeah, that'll be great. I could use some counters. That's actually what's holding this up. And the maps and the scenarios are done. Okay. I recommend us not waiting so long to do another broadcast. Trying to remember all these buttons is killing me.
I've been ready. You're the one that's been.
I know. Okay. So we're going to move back a little bit to Lock and Load Tactical. I wanted to show you guys give you some ideas. This is Mark Van Marshall, again, one of our great artists that we have on our team, redid is redoing the maps that originally was called Heroes of the Blitzkrieg. And for those who are old-time Lock and Load fans, you will remember that Heroes of the Blitzkrieg had a bunch of maps, and there was Heroes of the Gap back then, which is now Heroes Against the Red Star, had a module called Honor and Portray. Okay, I may be pronouncing that wrong. Nicholas, apologize. Okay, and it had a whole bunch of French forces and stuff that were included in that. The old game, the problem was it used the maps from Heroes of the Blitzkrieg. Okay, so it didn't quite match the style. But the biggest problem that we found when we were trying to get all these maps together was I didn't own the company back then, and the artist that did those maps was not Mark Van Marshall. So in order for us to make these maps, we had to redraw them. Okay, so Mark Van Marshall's redrawing them, but we decided to take it a step further as we normally do. Okay, and we're making 2 sets of maps for what is Heroes of the Blitzkrieg. You do not need to buy those maps. They'll be available to order, but the maps you have are perfectly fine. This is more because of the computer game, and we just decided to step it up again. What did we do? There will be a 1940 style of these maps that will be able to be used with Heroes in Defiance, which was Heroes of the Blitzkrieg. And then there'll be a 1985 edition, which was originally just the Heroes of the Blitzkrieg map, modernized to look more for the mid-80s. So to give you an idea of how detailed or visually appealing the computer game can be and the board game, if you look at the map, I don't know if you can see there's what hex number is this? H15, H16, there's a little white building with a red dot. It looks just it's a multi-story building. You see a brown building right underneath the name of the town. Well, when you look at that, you really can't see it, but the zoom factor that we increased the computer game to there you go, will let you notice Mark Van Marshall's graffiti on the 1985 edition of the building. Okay, and I mean, look at that artwork, guys. I mean, Lock and Load has got to be one of the luckiest publishers around with David Julian, Ivan, who am I missing? Blackwell Hurd. We just have a stunning team of artists, and I really feel fortunate to be able to have these guys on our team. But anyway, you get an idea of that. There.
Well, plus, if you take a look at the windows that are in the inside of that courtyard, and look at the size of the hex, and yeah, it's just stunning. You've got the cobble work on that inside of the courtyard that can be picked out of detail, and you got to remember how these hexes are on the table. And the detail that Mark has put into these is just mind-blowing.
Yeah, it really is, and I like the surprise it does. And I don't know if Johnny's talking about us or the map. We'll just have to make our guess there. Okay. Oh yeah, and I forgot. I apologize. Steven's right. Shane Logan. He's doing the graphics to Point Blank.
Yep.
And to Contact Now. Okay. All right, guys. So anyway, going back to this, I hope you like to see that detail. Now, I don't know how many people know this, probably not many. We're pretty much, I think we're sold out of 5.0 rulebooks. They will not be put back into stock anytime soon because you're going to have, which is causing Devin's drinking problems, and Stefan, we don't want to forget Stefan there.
And Blackwell
drank already.
Okay.
This did not send him over the edge. This is just one of the things he loves. Okay. We're going to be having a 5.1 rulebook. Okay. We're going to go into some detail. We're not making 10,000 new rules. We're not making it ASL-like. We are not whatever else you guys may think negatively that we could be doing. Okay. Really what this is, now, if you have a 5.0 rulebook, we're not telling you to run out and buy a 5.1 rulebook. As Lock and Load under my leadership has always done, We've always tried to support the game backwards when humanly possible. Okay. There will be a clarifications and correction booklet. It is being physically worked on by Stefan in the background as I'm watching him send me messages as we speak. So if you have 5.0, you can download the 5 clarifications and corrections for 5.0. Okay, and it will have all the rule changes we put in the rule book and any clarifications or corrections. It will also, we also broke it down to show any, errors that are in the booklets. Any errors that we knew about should be updated in the new module scenario booklets. So if you buy them, the Spiral Bound, whether you just want them for the board game because it's Spiral Bound, whether you want them for digital play only, whatever the case is, they will have all the new corrections in them. Might we miss 1 and 2? I would love to lie to you all and tell you, no, we got them all, but this has not been our forte with some of the editing. Stefan graciously has joined our team, and he is what we call the final editor. So when we think it's perfect, he shows us how wrong we are and gives us all the corrections, which is what we're doing. Someone's asking about the skill cards. Just so you know, it was only about 6 orders of the skill cards that went out. Okay, it went live. Okay, and you have to, we're not printing these, we're using Wargamers Vault. And in order to do Wargamers Vault, what happens is I got to put all the cards online. I have to order them. And once I get them, they can go live. So what happened was the cards got here, I was sick, and I didn't get to check them fast enough, and they went live. Anybody who ordered from Wargamers Vault, it's the only place you can get them. And like I said, there's only, I think, 8 of you is what the guy from Wargamers Vault said. Just request Wargamers Vault to give you an update for the pack you ordered. As long as you place an order and it's paid for and all that, or you have paid for it, excuse me, they will send you a new card. Okay, so that problem is solved. If you order them now, they're already fixed. Okay, might there be a typo in there? Maybe, but Stefan, Devin, myself, and I don't remember the gentleman's name, but the guys on our Lock and Load Tactical Facebook group, there's 2 or 3 of you guys. You guys were phenomenal help in doing that. The cards themselves were, I guess, misprinted from 2 or 3 years ago when we printed them, which is where the error got introduced. And when I printed them to see what was around, and there was a delay, that's why you guys slipped through. And again, I apologize for that. Okay, but again, there'll be no cost to you guys. They'll be shipped to you on our dime, and that will take care of that. Basically, just to clarify, Jeff Lewis, as you know, has left Lock and Load. Okay, he went on to do bigger and better things, I hope, and we wish him the best. But we are very grateful for all the help, support, years work on the Lock and Load rule set. Right now, Devin is now running the Lock and Load Tactical, so he's here, guys. You can get hold of him. Okay. And our team is made up of Stefan and myself and Devin. Ralph Ferrari is part of the team, but we don't want to tax him, and he's working on a game. So he is kind of like if we have a real problem where we're not sure, we kind of bring it to Ralph to try to help us, see the light, and he's been very helpful with that. When is the 5 rulebook point 1 going to be out? I'm going to say September, and I'm going to say I expect it to be available for the 15th of September. Okay. We have something a little bit planned for that. Okay. The game is going forward. We do not plan to put the core rules into. That is not Devin's decision. That is mine. It adds way too much weight to the game. I've got way too many complaints. I have 6 copies of Lock and Load Tactical, 4-1 rulebook. I only need 1, and they really want the Spiral Bound because it's so much easier to work with. So when the book is ready, 5-1, we will have an option for you to be allowed to purchase the rulebook with the game. You want to buy 2 of them, you can buy 2 of them. You want to buy none of them, you don't have to if you already own 5.0 or you've got 5.1. It really is going to reduce the weight, and the shipping is really what's killing you guys. It's not as much the production as it is the shipping. The production's high because it has to be done manually, the booklets. But the real problem is the weight and the shipping, which is always always an issue. You know, Ralph's part of the team, but he is a rules guru, yes. But really, if Devin and I had to basically say, Stefan seems to have a much tighter rein on these rules than him and I combined. But it's really a good collaboration we got going now. Some of you guys may not, I don't say who you are, but every now and then when we do something now, we'll pull in somebody from the Facebook group. So if you're on our Facebook group and you like Lock and Load Tactical in this case, we send you previews of new stuff to have you check for us. See if you like it, see if we missed something, just to get a second or third, fourth pair of eyes on this now, to help weed out some of the mistakes that we've had in the past. The Ty's been very nice with some of the mistakes we've made in Red Star in the past, and we do not mind the criticism. We don't like it. We wish we didn't have a reason to criticize it, but we are making strides to really try to weed that out, and which is why we have this new 3-man to 4-man team when we do these different projects. And we're going to do this with the other game lines. So what is going to be in the 5-1 is images. Here we go. The first thing we did, and I'm really going to let Devin talk more about this, is we redid, and I'm going to say the word redid, all the combat tables. And these are what we call the generic combat tables or the standard combat tables. Every line went through. It went through so from people online. I'm not calling anybody out, like I said. But if you ever get a message from me, I randomly pick people. Sometimes I go back to the same guys because we do want your feedback. Okay. So we broke down the tables. We kind of renamed a little bit of them. I'll let, again, Devin go through that. The big thing is we try to give you rule reference numbers, which go to the 5-1 rule books now, which I guess it really does match 99.9% of the 5-0 rule book. So it's not going to cause any problems. There might be 1 or 2 exceptions, which we'll show you. I don't know. Let me just see if I can do this, guys. Hold on. Apparently I'm not doing this correctly. Oh, hold on. My bad. Let me just swing this over here. Screen share. Okay. I'm screen sharing. I'm going to try to. So uncooperative, this thing sometimes. Okay, let me get rid of. Okay, so what I'm trying to show you, apparently very poorly. Okay, I'm trying to blow it up so you can see it a little bit better. Okay, this is not working as well as I like. Let me just see if I can make it any larger. Oh, I can't. There you go, guys. Okay, so this is a little bit of a look at it. Dev, why don't you talk about what we kind of did with the combat tables?
Well, the first thing, one of the first things we did with this, I don't want to call it a generic set of player aid cards, but it kind of is a generic set of player aid cards. Something that we can use as a base for future modules and past modules. One of the first things we did was eliminate all module specific rules, modifiers, anything like that were on for these generic charts. Most of the rules that we have in our modules don't need their own charts. They don't need their own line entries. They're already in the module specific rules. Heroes of the Pacific is the exception to that, but that's its own special thing. So we got rid of all module-specific rules because we don't need them for a base card. Now, what we have done, as you can see with Combat Table 3, the Direct Fire table, we have gone through line by line like we've had in previous editions of the Player Aid card. However, we have expanded it because there are new situations that have come up and we realized we need to add it. But also, we have the rules reference for each line modifier. So if you're looking at something and you're wondering, okay, like attacking unit is helicopter in flying mode, it's a -2. Well, why exactly is that way? We reference the rule number 10 point or 19.2. Is that 19 or 2? I can't see. Whatever. 0.2.1. That's the actual rules reference in, I will say, the 5.1 version of the corrections.
99.9% of them, honestly, are the same. There are a few exceptions, but they're really, we did our very damnedest not to change the number. And we may have added a number. There's minor exceptions, but
yeah, we might have a new subsection like 19.1.1 or 19.1.2. We might have added that, but we didn't change any of the actual physical numbering. The page numbers are going to be different between 5.1 and 5.0.
Oh, that's a guarantee. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a guarantee because we just added more stuff. All right, so now you have a specific condition. We have given you the exact rules so you can look into the rule and read up on the rule just to make sure you get it set right in your mind. And we've done that with virtually everything on the packs. I can't think of very much. We have a thermal imaging site table. We've got the rules reference for that. We've got portage limits. We've got the rules section for that. I mean, everything. It's like right here. We've got fate of crew and passengers. We got the rules reference for that. Support weapon portage, rules for that. Optional speed modifier. We got the rules reference for that. So if you're looking at these charts and you want to get the exact rule, you don't have to try to flip through the book anymore like it used to be in the previous editions of the packs. The rule numbers are right there. And we think that's going to help people immensely with everything on getting the rules down more set in their mind.
Right. And now we also added a red dot to any table that is for modern era, just like it is in the rulebook, just, for reference purposes. Stefan did a phenomenal job making this new fate of crew and passenger table. Go a little bit into that or no?
Well, basically, before we didn't have an exact chart and table of what happened. Okay, if a vehicle is shaken, what happens to the crew and passenger? If the vehicle is destroyed, we didn't have an actual. It was written out in the rules. It just wasn't in chart form. And so Stefan did a phenomenal job in making this chart for us. So this is one of the new charts that are being introduced in 5.1. And it's really self-explanatory. You take what type of damage the originating is, what the vehicle is, and it's just cross-reference, and that tells you, all right, this is what you need to do. And again, rules reference 15.4, 16.1.1. If you have any questions about it, you can just reference right to the rule book directly.
Okay. Let me see what else. Get rid of this. Okay. And let's see, comments. There we go. Okay, so that's that table, and that is outline of play.
Again, we haven't added anything new to this. We just made sure we clarified and we codified exactly what happens. And again, rules reference, rally phase 3.0, operations phase 4.0, movement 6.0, and each of the subsections. Double time under movement, that you got the rule reference there. Low crawl, you got the rule reference there. Spotting 10.1, so on and so forth. We think this is it's slightly longer because we did add a few things in there that we felt needed to be added. But if you know the sequence of play, this is just a great aid to assist you. And for new players, it has everything laid out right there for you. So you're not going to have any having to go to the rule book. And that's one of the biggest things that we wanted to make sure. We want to reduce the time people are spending in the rule books. So if we can get it onto a chart and a table and just have the rules reference if they need it, fine. But let's play the game, not the rules. Get your head out of the rule book. Let's try to do everything we can to make it easier for you to play.
Let me basically add something too. We have a lot of college kids, and we have a lot of girls playing Lock and Load Tactical. We have a lot of high school and college kids playing on game. Actually, we have been selling a lot of games to some of the colleges, our war games, believe it or not. And you would think with everything closed down, when everything closed down beginning of the year,
right back,
it got a lot more, but the play came up, and a lot of the things we changed, and I say the word change, what we added was to make it easier for some of the gamers. I mean, if you're an old-time gamer, I'm sure you are used to ratio tables. A lot of the gamers were having a hard time with that. A lot of the gamers, especially newer gamers, okay, were having problems with less than or equals to symbols. I will say that Devin and I were getting them backwards quite a bit too. We were going over that. So we converted that to the words, greater than or less than this number on the tables and on the in the rules, just to make it easier for those people to play. Not everybody needs all these charts and tables, especially if you're familiar with the game. You can just play. But the object is we want to get more young people playing these games. At least that's my personal goal. Okay. And we want to make it easy when you are playing the game. This is one of our ways of doing just that. Let's see what we have here now. And again, it really is to, we have felt that the referencing to the rules, once you've played it 3 or 4 times, is pretty minor. And it's usually on things that don't happen, but once every, 3 games, you might get, some strange result there. Let me just see. We do have a question.
Great question,
Joe. Yeah, all of the people on the box, and I'm gonna say most of the people on the counters are either employees, self. In the case, Heroes Road to Stalingrad. If you look at the handsome guy on the left to me, to the right of me, or to you, you may notice there's a slight similarity to it. Basically, what we're doing there is, back in the day, when Rock and Roll was originally around, there was a fee charged by the old owners to make up counters and stuff. And you know what? We don't make money unless you guys buy the game. So if you go onto our forums, okay, and you give us a picture, there's some instructions. You have to give us permission to use it. Once you use it, you can't take it back. Okay, as far as going on a counter, because you can't pull your counter from the game. And you can tell us, hey, I want to be a German, I want to be American. We had some, we thought it was kind of fun. We had a Japanese or Korean fan who wanted to be an SS officer. Going to be a little harder there. Okay. Doesn't mean we may not do it anyway, but we always have the right to override your request if you give us a picture of you. It is pinned to the Lock and Load tactical forum on Lock and Load's forum pages, okay? And we deliberately go and pull people from those areas and turn them into counters, okay? So, Devin's counter, obviously he wasn't on the Eastern Front I'm aware of, or any of his family. If you are familiar with the website, No Enemies Here, we have a counter of Dan and his grandfather, who really was in the Italian army during the war, and they're counters, and you're going to see them coming up in future games. But we like to put you guys on there. I mean, how much better is it if you can actually kill Devin's counter? Think about it. Okay.
I kill my own counter all the time, so it's just the nature of the beast, I suppose.
But yeah, so we do it for free. You just got to put it up there. There's no promise we're going to use you, but there's no promise we're not if you put it up there. And the odds are we're going to. I believe, Devin, if I'm not mistaken, there's quite a few counters leaders from your game that are from that pool, correct?
There are at least 6 counters that I know of, and our own artist, Ivan, when he was doing it up, pulled a lot of his friends to fill out the rest of them. Okay. So there are no created or fictional characters in Heroes Road to Stalingrad for the leaders. They are all actual people that either we as Lock and Load Publishing have pulled the pictures for, or our artist, Ivan, decided to go ahead and use his friends for and had them do poses for him as well. So
we highly ask everybody, you want to get on a counter? It really isn't that hard. We actually have been pulling people who are not gamers because We don't have enough pictures. And I mean, the artists can obviously draw whatever they want from scratch, but we think it just adds an extra, nice way of doing it for our fans.
It connects you to the game when you're actually commanding your own counter in the game, and that increases your enjoyability. And we're all about that.
Yeah. Hey, Charles, how you doing? Yeah, he's on the cover of North Africa. And so we love doing that. We think it's just a great way to say thank you to the community, and it adds something. I remember when I think it was GI Anvil came out from Avalon Hill, one of the modules. One of the big thing was you got your name on a counter, And that was one of the biggest events at I guess it was Avalon Con back then. Waiting for that to see whose name made the counter or not. Okay, so one of the other things, and I will be putting Devin on the spot there. There was not a lot of rule changes. I know we finalized a lot of them. A lot of them we pushed off. Either we didn't feel it was necessary, or we wanted to wait for later on down the road. Okay, I'm just checking. View priority. Okay. What rules, Dev, do we know that we have made some adjustments to?
Well, not a lot of rules have been added. There have been a lot of adjustments and changes and clarifications and expanding on the basic rules itself. One of the things that come to mind right off the top of my head is how squads lay smoke. We never really identified if a unit under an ops complete marker could lay smoke or not, or if a shaken unit could lay smoke or not. So we just expanded it out a little bit, mostly taking input and questions that the consumers and the customers had, because for whatever reason, we didn't think about it. And honestly, that's what 90% of our job is trying to head off issues and answering questions before they become questions. So there's that's what a large number of the clarifications are. Another rules clarification that we have is you cannot assemble a weapons team, a support weapon while you're on a vehicle. It seems like common sense, but it wasn't laid out specifically in the rules. So we've got just a ton of stuff like that. Some new rules we've got. Normally, when a vehicle is hit and the vehicle is if units are in a vehicle, transport vehicle typically, is hit and is shaken, automatically that disgorges the infantry and they're shaken. Well, we decided, and Stefan was the one who came up with this rule, let's give the crew or the passengers inside a morale check. And if they pass the morale check, they can stay inside the shaken vehicle instead of being kicked out of the vehicle and being automatically shaken. Well, that makes sense because that's what morale is for. Your vehicle's getting shot up. Either you're going to jump out and be shaken like the vehicle, or if you pass your morale check, you're going to stay inside the vehicle. And that gives more control to the player. It's like, well, if they want to disgorge the infantry at that point, they can disgorge the infantry. But if they want to keep the infantry in there, hoping that the vehicle unshakes next turn and they can continue moving without spending the entire turn reloading the infantry, then that option is there now. Another one that we've got is we have added several more fire missions for offboard indirect artillery. Normally, and we're calling this the standard fire mission, is just what is in 18.1 or 18.2, where it's the center hex and 6 surrounding hexes. We have 1, 2, 4. We have 4 new fire missions. 2 of them kind of work the same as your standard barrage. We've got concentrated fire missions, though, where more firepower is placed on the center hex, but at the cost to firepower to the 6 surrounding hexes. We've got a loose fire mission where you're sacrificing half your firepower to hit a wider barrage area. We've got a line barrage, and we can see that on the table right now. Whereas instead of a center hex location and 6 surrounding locations, it's 7 hexes long. So, I mean, you're not losing any firepower. It's just how the artillery barrage is now formed rather than 6 plus 7 or center plus 6. Now you've got a center and 3 on each side. So it's still the same. And there's also a walking barrage where you have 3 fire for effect counters, but every turn they move forward a little bit. Now that one, you kind of gain a little bit more firepower out of it because you do have a couple extra hexes, but the disadvantage is it's technically only hitting 3 hexes and it's slowly moving up the map each turn. So if you want to, the defender could move out of the way of it, but if they're in a defensive position, they may not be able to. And so that's what that walking barrage is for. So, and again, if you just want to keep with the standard barrages, you can. We're just giving you more options with your offboard indirect artillery fire.
Okay. And as always, any of the new rules will be in blue. So if you have the 5.0 rulebook, all the stuff that's in blue there will be black now. Okay. And all the new stuff, corrections, updates, or changes or additions are in blue. So we're following the same format. Anything else?
Not that I can think of. I mean, one thing we do want to make people aware of is we don't want this to become ASL, Advanced Squad Leader. Yeah. That's why.
And just say that, just to be clear, we are ASL players. We have played it. Okay, we're not against it. What we mean by saying that is we're never going to bring Lock and Load Tactical to that level of detail. ASL, if you want that level of detail, even for us, you can't beat it. Okay, and to try to reinvent the wheel, even the Advanced to Brook system, those two systems are for those who want to do just that. My personal taste at 55 years old is that it's too many rules. I can't remember this crap anymore. I'm not 18, 20 years old. And, you know, I want something I can play and enjoy the game, hence not reading the rules all the time. You know, ASL, you constantly got people, you got your head in the rules because you can't maintain I can't maintain all that stuff anymore. So if you're really looking for the ultimate squad game, I mean, for detail and realism, it's not my company. I don't get any stocks in it. Okay, but let me just say, ALL is your pick. As far as money in, money out, how much does it cost? I'm going to be honest with you guys. It's probably all relatively close. One may be a little bit more expensive here, a little cheaper there. But as far as just talking about the game, it's there. I would say Advanced to Brook, I think it's not as, you know, popular. It's probably not as supported as tightly. Again, there's nothing wrong with the game system. I did own it at one point myself, but I did prefer ASL. But it's taste. It's not like it's a bad game. So let me make that clear. I think after that, Lock and Load Tactical fits that sweet spot where it's got enough realism, but hopefully we're not bogging you down with rules. Okay. So,
and when that was a concern that we started hearing when we were announcing 5.1 is that people were going to be too worried that we're going to start adding more rules and jumping the shark. And then that's not what our goal is. 5.1 mostly is clarifications and corrections of stuff we realized we messed up originally and what the fans and the customers have wanted clarification on. We've added a couple
questions over the time.
Right. We've added a couple new rule sets in, but honestly, like I said, the artillery barrage rules, it's a page front and back, not even a full page front and back of new rules. And it follows the same mechanics. You're just shifting numbers around a little bit. We just want to make sure that people understand we are maintaining our commitment to being a playable, enjoyable, head out of the rule book game.
Yeah, well, it's basically, you know, if you're cooking dinner, we want you to cook the dinner. If you're playing the game, we want you to play the game. We don't want you to have to go shopping and then have to prepare the food and clean up the dishes. You know, that's more than just cooking. And that's the whole thing. Most gamers don't have a lot of time, and which is why we're committed to letting you play the game online, computer, the whole thing. Okay, guys, we're going to open it up to questions unless, Deb, you got anything else you want to jump in there?
No, I think we've covered everything pretty well. We haven't had very many questions. We've had a lot of people in and out. I mean, we got 21 watching on YouTube. We've got about 8 or 12 on Facebook. Twitch.
No, we have 37 on Facebook.
Right now. Is it? I got to re-update that then. All right. But yeah, we really, really glad every one of you is here. Well, I mean, we enjoy it when we have a lot of people watching this.
Right. Tony has a question. Would you consider Heroes of the Motherland, Normandy, and Defiance a modern take on classic Squad Leader across the Vine, Crescendo, Doom? I know. I found Squad Leader phenomenal when I was in high school, playing that all summer long. I would say it's a modern version, maybe. I mean, it's a different system. And I think back then, I mean, that was really one of the real first tactical games that really was finding its feet. I mean, I don't know if you remember back then, but if you played Squad Leader and they got Cross Divine, you throw your armor out. You got Cassandra Doom, you throw your armor out. So they were finding their footing and making it more what they wanted to. I find Heroes of the Motherland, Normandy defines all these games. The best part about all this is you can play basically from the Spanish Civil War all the way up to modern day Syria using the lock and load tactical system. So once you get the rules down, yes, you have modular rules that will change per game. You can really keep going. So no, I really don't not sure how to answer that. I think, to me, those are classic games, and you're never going to get that time period again with production and printing and playing war games. And I think war games now, they're much more, let's just say, sexy. The maps are nicer, counters are bigger, they're rounder. The idea is totally different. Our personal goal is to make it easier to play, get as many young people to play to keep the hobby going, and to play with us old people. Okay, and use the technologies to advance it. So I hope that answered your question in a roundabout way. Okay, Neil, what does Neil have to say?
He's talking about leader counters, getting his face on a leader counter.
Yeah, Neil, if you've got family, friends, whoever, and any would be cool, that would be great. We have no problem with any of that, and you can put, within reason, as many people up on that forum site for us as possible. I will say this: Dan's, I think it's his grandfather.
Grandfather,
yeah. He only had a black and white picture, and I even took that and made it color. If I had the time, I would just stick it up and show you. But what a phenomenal job he did. So if you have your grandfather, father, whoever, again, they were in the war and you want us to try to add them, listen, we'd be honored to put those people in our games. Okay? All we ask is to make sure you okay for you to put them in the game so they don't, hey, you're getting all fuzzy there, Devin. Your picture's really, really fuzzy.
Really?
Yeah. Well, at least on my end.
Mine is looking clear, but that doesn't mean anything. Oh yeah, definitely fuzzy on YouTube. I apologize. I don't know why that is doing that. So
it's the drinking guys and the rules.
Wow, that is odd.
Hey, Charles is
hopefully clear up. So, and Joe asked a really good question.
So there are new rules. All right, Joe, let me clarify this again. I thought I said this, but maybe I didn't. I'm taking pain pills, so I could be off. Okay. The 5.0 rules are still in the store because if there are 2 or 3 books left, someone can grab them, but I thought they were sold out. Okay. So I would say that the 5.1 books will be up. Well, once we're out of the 5.0 books altogether, Darren will change it. It'll say 5.1, and they will become available, my guess, 5.1 sometime in the middle of September. Maybe, I doubt it'll be next week, but might even be the week after that, and you guys can start ordering it, okay? And it's easy to tell. It'll say 5.1 right on the cover, okay? The older stuff will be still compatible. Even if you own the original Forgotten Heroes, you still be able to play with the new rules. And we will make sure, okay, that the clarification and correction document, the PDF, it's a free download, is available, okay, before or as the 5.1 rulebook comes out. So if you already own 5.0 and you don't want to buy another book, I'm not telling you to buy another book, you will be able to, hold on, Devin's back.
Yeah, I'm not sure why it's being all fuzzy, so we'll just go on if I can get.
It could be a good science fiction episode. Time distortion field.
Looks like it's showing up better on YouTube now. All right. Apologies about that. Sorry.
So anyway, so 5.1 rules are not available yet. Okay. The charts and tables are not available yet. They're just all done. They will be. The new charts and tables, the updated charts and tables will be in the core rules, the 5.1 core rules. It will be a free download. You don't have to buy it. You can take it and print it yourself if you want to. We will eventually update the hardcover to this, and we will eventually update. I'm going to make a whole new audiobook of this as well. And guys, give us feedback, man. Audiobook waste your time? Good idea. Like the ebook, you like the hardcover, we need to hear it because we don't want to put time into this that we could be putting in something else. There will be answering Johnny. No pre-orders. And that's another thing too, guys. We're going to change the way we're doing one thing. The Kickstarters, we're going to print very limited copies over and above the Kickstarter. Okay? So if you don't get a Kickstarter, which is fine, once the game is shipping or on its way to us, we will open up the pre-orders. Okay? It will be more money. So let me just state it up front. Okay? And there will be no more of this pre-ordering 3, 4, 2 years down the road. It's frustrating for the customer. It's frustrating for us. So we're going to do the Kickstarter way. The pre-order will be what falls in between the Kickstarter and it getting to the shop, and then it'll just be online until it's sold out. Okay. Someone just asked, Heroes of Normandy is sold out. Okay. If you didn't get Heroes of Normandy, or there's two copies left. Oh, sorry, 2 copies left of Heroes of Normandy. Okay. Once those are gone, there are no more. Okay. Will we make a reprint of it? If I do, it won't be until sometime next year. Have no idea how we'll do it. It'll probably be a Kickstarter, but just so you know, so if you want Heroes of Normandy, better race to the guy in front of you. Okay, what's this? Hey, Jim, we paused the magazine idea. We got a lot of positive responses. That you guys really did show up on. But I like to, we wanted to do the 5.1 first and get those updates out there. We think that would be better to use. So yes, I'm going to say it's probably coming, but it is not, you won't see it this year. I doubt you'll see it this year, right, Devin?
Probably not this year. We've got a lot of work that we still need to do.
We've got quite a bit of games that we're getting out the door. And like I said, we're going to do these Kickstarters back to back so we can print them all at once, and they're going to come pre-boxed, ready to ship. So we're going to, in a way, I guess, limit your options as far as buying this or adding this special type of map. We're not going to be combining the shipping. The object is to get in and out the door, so you guys can play and then move on to the next product. And we've always worked well in these bursts. And the reason we do it is the printer we are using now, and the new guy that might be in Texas who's really trying hard, they're really giving us a damn good break if we order a large quantity of it. We just don't want the stuff sitting in the warehouse overly long. And if we give him, 3, 4, 5, 6 games, he's doing them all at once. He's pre-packaging them all. You know what? That's the way to get to you guys. Okay. When do you think it will hit? Well, okay. My guess is Darren will be talking to Second Chance Games. That's what the SCC is. They do have a lot of our games. There's been quite a few distributors that have now been purchasing our products recently. So I would check with your local game guys. But Second Chance Games is probably one of the largest that support us overseas. And I would say probably within 2 or 3 weeks of it becoming available from our store, because we will be talking to them the second it's available. And because our Kickstarters, we place the orders for the distributors then. they will be, Second Chance Games and some of the other ones will buy with the Kickstarter. So again, all these games will be pretty much, I'm not going to say all pre-sold, but the percentile is about 80 to 85%, honestly.
Well, and also remember the digital version will be available well before the physical copy. So if you like the physical copies, then yeah, it's going to be a little bit of a delay lag from the time we do the PDF, that the free PDF for download, because obviously there's no production involved other than what we're doing working on it now. The PDF will be available before you can purchase it, so you can at least look at the PDF and decide if you want the hard copy as well. So
when we go to release the actual printed spiral bound, the digital copy will be available immediately, so you don't have to wait for the book to arrive. You don't even need to, again, I'm stressing again, you don't need to buy anything. You could just buy the clarification and corrections and get the new 5.1 and you're good to go. If you want a spiral bound book, there you go. Someone's asking about module rules. Will there be PDFs? Right now, the answer is no. Okay. They're only going to be spiral bound. That may change, but again, it's a matter of bandwidth, guys. Okay. So it's not going to happen anytime soon. It definitely won't be happening this year that I can foresee. I'm sorry, Johnny, just get your question. Yes, right now the books, our books are all made in the USA. Okay, the games, it's 50-50. I don't know yet. I'm waiting for quotes, and my goal is I would like to make them here, and if it's only a couple of bucks difference, yeah, I would pass it on to the cost of the games, but it'll get the games a lot faster. But I'm not going to commit to that. What we are not going to do, and I'll give people bad news now, we're not going to be doing what we did with Chinese orders or Australian orders. The only places we're going to ship these games to for shipping purposes is Canada and Second Chance Games in the UK. Right now, those are the ones who will probably be a 2, maybe 3 week delay from when they hit our warehouse to get to those stores. Everybody else, if you're in Australia, there's just not enough orders, and the cost of shipping separately is just way too high to maintain those games there. I've tried numerous times to get a shop. I was willing to make all kinds of wheeling and dealings to get them to buy the games, put them on consignment, all kinds of stuff, to have a dealership that I can send gamers to in Australia. I'm going to be honest with you guys, I couldn't find anybody in Australia or New Zealand. Canada, we thought we had a great deal with the last Kickstarter from FedEx. They suck. Let me personally tell you that. And it cost us thousands of dollars to pay for taxes on things that were supposed to be no tax. Okay. And so this time we have a store, and if that store rings through, then they will be trucked by us to them and then shipped from Canada. If not, it'll be from the US only. And, that's the only way we can do it. The UK will be doing exactly how we've always done it in the past, where they'll just go to the UK and ship from there. So the UK orders will have, like I said, probably 2 or 3 week delay. It was a lot worse with the Space Infantry and with World at War, COVID, limited space, the horrible shipping from China, and the fear of the trade war. And I'm not going to go through that crap again. It makes me nauseous. But all that stuff really, I feel was unique. Ronnie asked a question. Are most scenarios black and digital on the mods? Are they currently available? Okay, there are no new scenarios as far as not available elsewhere. So I know if it's in the game, there's some scenarios where we are doing them in 8 to 12, 15 scenarios per pack. It depends on how the game breaks it down. We do plan to make some scenarios or modules that are only available online. They're not even close because we haven't got the something of each base game out. We want at least one battle pack of each base game out before I try doing that. Now, can I change tomorrow? Yeah, I could. Okay, only because let's just pretend I got zombie counters. Okay, Tom says, "Oh, I can do this in 3 days." You may get Heroes of the Zombie World. Who knows? Okay, and it'll be available quickly. But I wouldn't go placing bets on that. Okay. All right, guys. Does anyone have anything else? If there's anything we didn't ask or anything we didn't cover, I hope you like. By the way, we're trying to do these Saturdays at 1 o'clock when I'm not in production meetings with the World at War team and stuff. So the Europeans and the people on this side of the planet can see it together. But we are going to jump around as always. Okay. Thank you for answering. One final question. The last thing we do once we get probably not the last thing, but one of the last things we do once we get one of each battle pack out is we will be working on the battle generator. And the reason we have to do it that way, for those who know, is simply because you got to have all the special rules programmed, all the module stuff has to be programmed in order for the battle generator to work properly. So it's definitely something Tom knows about. Tom's already been programmed in it. And let me just also jump on top of the battle generator. If you bought the battle generator now and you have it, and all that noise is thunder in the background, guys. So just so you know, the wife's not mad at me. Okay, but if you bought the battle generator, okay, in that book is all the other games that's been released up until now. So Heroes of Normandy, Heroes of North Africa, those cards or those booklets have all the unit cost charts to play those games. The new games, such as Heroes Road to Stalingrad, Heroes of Grenada, in the scenario booklets, we're going to put the sheet in there. So this way you don't have to keep buying a new battle generator. The battle generator has the rules. It covers the older games, but the new games, the cost sheet for all the units will be in the module rules and scenario booklet. So you don't have to worry about, trying to find that. So that's how we're going to do that going forward. Okay, Ronnie seems happy with me. That's one.
We'll take what we can get each time it happens.
All right.
And Johnny had a question about Space Infantry Tactical.
I did. Look at that. Okay, you wrote a question mark. Johnny, you may not have been listening to the whole show, man. Come on. Okay, Space Infantry Tactical, which was and is known as Space Infantry Tactics. The counters are already done. They are already in production and being shipped our way as we speak. Okay, so that will, again, probably not be Kickstarted. Okay, it might be, but it'll be a very quick thing, just to give people a chance of a break. Okay, I can't give you an exact day because it's got to show up and then we've got to assemble it. Okay, because these are things that we're doing here in the States. So those are made in the USA type games. But I guarantee you, myself and Blackwell and Devin and whoever else will be on here talking about that. I think the only thing that really needs to be made is, I think we're short 2 maps. I think we only have like 2 scenarios. So those will be added on there. So there you go for that. Some of the other things that, like, many of you know, we own the rights to Rise and Decline of the Third Reich by John Prados. We have basically had like I said, it's been almost 2 weeks in discussion. I've had some talk to people. We are setting up, some games will be cut from the production line. Okay, not those games that we mentioned and not the games there, simply because the COVID-19 crammed everything together, and I don't want to be working on this production schedule for the next 2 years. Okay, and it's very important to me to be able to let Devin do things that interest him, Stefan, and that. So we're not canceling Tigers in the Snow, but I do believe you're going to get something different than is just simply a Nations at War game. Sean and I have talked about kind of updating the Nation at War to a new series, not for the old games. The old games are done. They're, wherever they are is where they're standing. But Tigers in the Snow, you might see a World War II edition of what is, I'll say, is World at War 85. So the counters will be different. The maps will be the same. It's not made to be. It's made to be part of that series, or how would you call that? The next level in that series.
Graphical update.
Well, it's not just graphical. It'll be a rule book, the count where they are, stuff like that. But we'll get to that as we go forward. We're really going to concentrate on these 4 and 5 games. I know Sean has taken the time during the COVID-19 to get Point Blank up to date. Steve has gone over endlessly his rule book and stuff. Steve wants to know, when will I set the KS schedule? Well, part of the schedule, Steve, is really going to depend upon what level. Right now, I'm pretty sure Trawler Strength will be going out any day now. I mean, like, you could see it in the next week or so, okay? Part of it's Kickstarter, too. The second game in the series will probably be Devin's Heroes Road to Stalingrad. My guess is, if I had a guess contact now, it will be probably the 4th or 5th game in the lot. Okay. And I want, we want to have all the graphics done. And just so you guys know, I put it in the order that people are giving me stuff. So if the designers are a little bit late, I'd rather them late and get it right than be early or on time and I got to change it 6 or 7 times. Okay. And once we get all that in there, I'll get it very close. We feel comfortable. We Kickstarter it, and you'll start seeing it on here. You'll see Steve on here, Sean on here. Okay. One of the things we kicked all the way back, like I said, to the end of the current line would be Heroes of Grenada, because Ralph wanted more time. He felt he needed more time. And so that's how we're doing it. Stevie, does that answer your question, or are you looking for something else? Okay.
Joe had another question as well. Nope.
Oh, how's my little buddy doing? Tell him I said hello. I got to give Johnny parenting kudos. I believe his son is 5. I may be a little off a year there, but he bought his son a drum set, and I saw him banging on the drum set in a video that Johnny was nice to share with me. And I don't know if I would have done that for my 5-year-old.
Joe was asking about the components for Normandy.
Okay.
Up a little bit.
Joe. Are you able to click on these and bring them live too?
I don't have access to be able to do that. But basically he's asking, does Heroes of Normandy have all the rules, everything to play? Further up than that.
Oh, I'm sorry, Joe.
Right there.
No, okay. Sorry, Joe. Here's okay. When you mean all the rules, you mean the core rules? All the games have 4.1 rules in it. All the rule books, 4.1 is more than playable, and every gamer will tell you that. The 5.0 rule book, in my opinion, is better if you don't know the system. Okay, and I'm going to break this down for you really fast, people. The 4.1 rule book was broken down into a modern rule book and a World War II rule book. Okay, and I went to a game show. One of my good buddies, I won't tell you who he is. He knows who he is. I watched him play at a competition, a Game On in Seattle, and what happened was they kept going into the rule book to play, and I was watching it, and honestly, I was like, that's horrible. It's taking them forever to play because I had to keep looking things up. And at the time, I had a conversation with Jeff Lewis about this, and I said, I want to get rid of that. I want to make it easy to play, easy to find the rules. So I'm holding up for you, and this is going to be really sloppy. Okay, the 5.0 rule book, which says it's the same thing, but it says 5.1 coming up. And I just want to give you a quick breakdown for these rules. Okay, if you're not familiar, each rule book section on the table of contents, damn it, I hate this, is color coded. Okay, so you can find it. And as you flip, and I know you're not going to be able to see this too well, as you flip through the top of the rule book, you will see that you can just scan the rules and then find the color you're looking for. Okay? So what we did was we put all the rules, okay, and the rule book is supposedly 273 pages. Now, before you disconnect, okay, it's really not 273 pages. And I'll give you a quick breakdown. First of all, it's 12-point type. This is not your grandpa's war game from Avalon Hill at 8 points, double columns, and, you know, it's on 12 pages. This is 12-point. We're going to do the same thing with point blank, the same thing with contact now. We want to be able to let you read this, especially if you're an older guy, makes it easier. Makes your rule book bigger, guys. That's the trade-off. Okay? Now, the actual rules themselves, until you run out of real rules, okay, there's a lot. We also put a lot more. It's much more graphical than the standard rule book. I'm going to say you got pictures, and again, I'm not trying to blur out. What we did was anything that's a rule change and an update from 4.1 is in blue. Anything that's an example is in red. It's very easy to tell what you're looking at. Okay, here's some line of sight rules. Okay, you can see they're all in red, and we give a lot of examples. Again, if you know the game, you don't really need to go through all that, but I want to get to, the other thing we did was, as we're explaining rules and stuff, we had put designer notes in there, comments, just try to give you an idea of what we're doing. Line of sight, the line of sight and lock and load is you have to be spotted to shoot at something, and that was kind of odd to people, or it definitely seemed to be one of the more challenging things people weren't getting. So, you know, Jeff wrote a nice long dialogue of what the idea was behind the rule and why we were doing it that way. Okay. Now, once you get past these basic rules, okay, and I'm going to tell you exactly what page the rules stop on. Okay. We also explain how the series break down, stuff like that. So the rules actually will end on page 133 of 12-point font, okay? Any rules are just for modding. As you can see, I guess you can see there's a little red dot. It's also in the table of contents, and it's also in the combat tables. And again, if you're playing a World War II game, you can just skip the red dot ones for the time being. Now, what we did after that was, for those who don't know it, we have a video boot camp. This is also in the rule book, okay? And we explain some of the additional ways to learn the game. So if you go to our YouTube channel, okay, Nate Rogers, Gimpy Gamer, he does work with Mo at Whiskey Charlie, with Kevin Sharp. He made, I think we're in the range of 60 plus videos. The videos are deliberately, normally not more than 3 minutes. I think the line of sight was the exception. It's like 5 minutes, okay? And you can really do it rule section by rule section. So if you're having a problem with, let's say, dismounting on a truck, find the rule section, find the video, and he literally puts it on the tabletop and explains to you with nice big video graphics and everything else, the rules. Okay. We also explain that there's an audio book. Now, we all going to agree that I don't know how well one can learn the game from the audio book, but people told me they really enjoy it because they can download it, listen to it in the car, listen to a section. We're just trying everything to help you learn the game better. We explain what the X maps are and the battle generator. Again, this is only 2 pages. Here's the next big thing that happens, okay? And I believe this is about 40 pages, so I'm going to just give you, we put a gameplay narrative in there, okay? This is basically pretend that you're sitting down with your best friend who knows the game, hopefully better than me, okay? And they're teaching you how to play a scenario, okay? And it's just 40 pages of commentary and narrative of how and what the steps are. And it's not like, okay, now you roll the die and now you do a morale check. It's not that type of thing. We're explaining to you with the pieces on the counter, what you're going to do, why you're doing it, what charts you're going to pull up. If you can see the next page of this, okay, he's pointing to charts, and he gives a lot of author notes also to help slow it down. And again, there's 2 40-page narratives. One, I believe, is all infantry tactics, And the next one, if I'm not mistaken,
vehicles and ordnance.
Vehicles and ordnance, right? And he also goes through turns. So he's actually playing the game, showing you what's going on in its written form. So you can, if you don't care, if you like to be taught a game, people have really enjoyed this because he said it really helped, and then they go back to the rules. If you want to read the rules and you're a rule guy, again, same thing. Here's the vehicle and ordnance gameplay. Okay, sorry about that. And when you get done all that, if that isn't enough, okay, we have all the charts and tables which are being updated in the sequence of play, okay, in the book, okay. And we made it so you can photocopy this out if you just want the charts and tables. There's another reason we put the charts and tables in there, okay. And the reason we did that is because what we haven't did was, let me just get back to there. Oh, there's also a glossary in this rule book, okay. Glossary is not too extensive, but we have a very, for Lock and Load Tactical, a very large index, okay. And again, it's made to help you find the rules easily. We've got nothing but praise about the index. Again, play the game, don't look up all the rules. And when we've done all that, okay, and now we're already up to page 252, we added the starter kit, okay? And what is the starter kit? The starter kit, you can download this book for free, print out the starter kit pages, which is probably about, there's two Heroes of Normandy and 2 Heroes of the NAM scenarios, okay? You have terrain effects chart for both of these. You have the scenarios, okay, for both of these. These, by the way, are the same scenarios are in the starter kit on the digital game. You can download the starter kit there and play online and get the same effect. You can also order the starter kit. Now, what are you ordering? You're ordering printed maps, printed counters, real counters, you know, like you would get in the game. It does not have the rules. You're still going to have to either buy the rule book or digitally download it, okay? And anyway, you can play. If you don't want to spend any money and you just want to see, do I like Lock and Load Tactical? Is it worth any money? I'm literally telling you, you can download the game, the rule book, I mean, have all the rules, okay? These are the counters. You can stick them to your own piece of chipboard or whatever you want, cut them out, okay? And here's a section of map just to give you an idea. Okay. And here's maps. You cut them out. You don't have to mount them. You can just tape them. And you can literally push pieces around and play and never spend $1, okay? And again, objects is to get you in the game as fast as possible and make sure you like it. We don't want you to buy our games if you're just not going to enjoy them. How many games you guys bought, the rules suck, wasn't, or you just wasn't for you, wasn't what you thought it was going to be? This is why we do the starter kits. This is why we do it. And we are going to do our best to have, like I said, a starter kit or something where you can play Steve's game. Sorry, that's my wife now. Okay, and yeah, he would be the youngest Lock and Load player, Johnny. I totally agree with you there. Okay, guys. So, Joe, I hope that answers your question. I didn't give you too much information about the rulebook. So you will get the 4.1. You know, and there's something else I didn't tell you guys that we're doing. We are going to be releasing, and I think I'm supposed to release that today too. Man, my schedule is booked. We have a 10-minute guide to Lock and Load Tactical. It's obviously a very quick guide. It's not made to give you all the rules and charts and tables. It's made to tell you a very easy way to start pushing counters around. That should be available. Yeah, did you approve that? Was that already approved by you and Stefan? Is that something you guys are still looking at?
You never sent it to me.
Really? Someone,
or if you did, it was before 5.1, and my memory's all hazy.
Oh, it was definitely before. It was definitely before 5.1. Yeah. Okay. So,
no. Yeah, no. I remember. Yeah, it got the thumbs up for me. Yeah.
Okay.
Because that was like a month and a half ago. Yeah.
Okay. I was sick.
You were.
So I will get that out there too. But if you're already playing Lock and Load Tactical, it's not there. Again, it's just a quick overview. And again, there's tons of resources for all of our games. A Wing and a Prayer. I forget the guy's name. He did a phenomenal job making. I'm going to say we called them advanced rules and advanced tables for that. There's all kinds of guides and aids to play Lock and Load Tactical, World at War 85. There's a 10-minute guide to World at War 85, which, by the way, is excellent. There's a tactics guide that someone wrote that we put online too. Stefan, there we go. Well, you need more than one iteration of it? Come on, let's go.
With you and I making the changes, yeah, we need more than.
Okay, so we're probably going to send it to Stefan first, just to read through it really quick. Yeah, it's a 1 minute talking. It actually was written by the guy who wrote Dawn's Early Light back when Forgotten Heroes was the very first Lock and Load Tactical game. And then we just really just expanded upon it. We've had it for all these years, and we released it. So it's a good chance you'll see that today, guys. Okay, guys, so if my count of 2 is right, Mike Holmes has got the second to last available copy. Okay? So, and these rules, like I said, will work with the original games. They were designed that way. So you don't have to throw your old games out and buy all new copies. Again, we're trying to support you guys the way you guys support us. Okay, guys, anything else? We're approaching, just over 2 hours.
A little over 2 hours, yep.
Okay, so I'm not going to promise there'll be another one next week, but we are going to spiff them up and get people to talk about their games and stuff. Again, expect to see Sean soon with Point Blank. That is looking very nice. Steve Overton with Contact Now. Devin, you've got a good look at his Heroes Road to Stalingrad. We do have some secret stuff coming out with a possible, so I hint the word here, campaign system for Lock and Load Tactical. Should I say that? Did I get myself in trouble?
Probably get yourself in trouble.
Well, that's okay. I'm always in trouble. So, all right, guys, listen, if you don't have anything else, Neil just ordered. Yeah, Neil, I'm just going to tell you, you're probably going to want to do the Kickstarter, not the pre-order. That is probably going to get turned off simply because it is the guaranteed way to get the game. Okay, the pre-order, just really fast, the way the pre-order worked in the system was we didn't want taking your credit cards. Okay. So what we did was you can request buying it. You don't get charged anything. You don't get guaranteed anything. Okay. So what happens is when the game hits the store, it sends out an email to everybody to finalize your order, hence pay for it. It only lasts 5 to tops 10 days. I think it's 7 days. And if, you don't do it, it cancels the order. And there's no way for us to get it back. There's no way for us to say, hey, I know you pre-ordered, you're not. So, and we've had quite a few people, World at War 85, not so many with Space Infantry, that did that, didn't catch the email, didn't realize it, and they lost their pre-order. It was a system because we didn't want to make everyone pay them wait such a long time, which is why we're changing it. So it'll be Kickstarter, best way to get it, probably will be the best price forever. And then it'll go on a limited pre-order while the games are heading to us. Okay, and then when those games are out, if there's any left, they'll be regularly in stock in the store. If not, there won't be any. Okay, guys? Yeah, it's not, Neil, it's not on Kickstarter yet, but it's going to be really soon, so just look for it. Yeah, Steve, no problem with Shane having on board too. And if Tony's available and wants to, you got him on track, you want to use him too, whatever we need. You'll definitely be hearing from us. Okay, guys. Let me just see. I lost all my stuff here. Hold on. All right. Well, guys, this is the salute, Ronnie. Anybody else has anything? Hopefully, you'll hear from us in the next week or two. Keep a lookout for the Kickstarters because it will be popping up damn soon. So with that, we start our famous goodbyes.
Well, that is all you have for this episode. Keep gaming, and may God bless you and keep you until next time. On the air is a Lock and Load Publishing production.
Thanks to everybody that came and showed up and watched.
Yes, thank you.